Is hypnosis really dangerous? Oh, happy Halloween. It's the perfect theme day to talk about hypnosis and dangers. Is it as dangerous as a horror movie and when you shut it off, it's over? Or is it really dangerous like Jack the Ripper or Mike Mandel with an axe or something like that? We're going to talk about hypnosis and danger and myths and realities. And the reason for this is we got an interesting email that was the basis of the conversation that we had. So welcome to Brain Software Podcast, episode 292, emanating from the Hypnotic World Epicenter, Toronto, Canada. I'm Chris Thompson. Like I said, happy Halloween. And here we go with this episode.
Hey, Pouch. What's happening, Jockstrap? Dave Ambrose here. It's Halloween on Mars, fag. Sidonia's rocking the smell of toasted pumpkin rind and shaking to the sound of the scarecrow laugh. Ah! So let's get started with the special episode by asking the aliens up here, can you really stop us? Can you stop us at all?
Bite me crank, matey. Halloween on Mars? Oh, yes, it is. Oh, that's going to block the microphone.
Stuff.
So I'll get rid of these and say, let's welcome to the hypnotic Omega Point, a man who's unafraid to discuss the perils and evils of hypnosis, a man who's willing to boldly go where no hypnotist has ever gone before, right into the vortex of hypnotic danger, and a man who realizes that hypnosis must be banned immediately now and right away, worldwide, because he's the other half of the Chris and Jeff show, Mike Mandel.
Yes! Oh, man, happy Halloween indeed. I'm wearing my Dark Shadows shirt. I hope you can see this. What a great show that was in the 1960s. I got all 12. Oh, that freaks me out.
Well, that's really going to screw up the audio. But
screw up your breathing, maybe your life. That's a
DIY costume.
thing.
All right, so here we go. We've got a fun episode, I believe.
I think we do too.
I don't think we've ever dressed up for Halloween before, so let this be maybe the first, and we'll see. Maybe we'll just start doing it all the time. We're going to talk about, like I said in the intro, dangers of hypnosis.
Evils of hypnosis.
We're going to make sure that you also know, I suppose, by the time this comes out, the Architecture of Hypnosis, which is in November 10th through 14th in Toronto.
Correct. Will
have definitely been sold out because I think we are down to like one spot right now. We will have opened registration, though, for the May 2026 class. So if you simply go to our website and check out live events, you'll see it there. I believe a short URL you could use is mikemandelhypnosis.com/class. That'll get you to the page where the Architecture of Hypnosis is happening. So if you want to hang out with two jokers like us and talk about hypnosis and experience it for a full week, it's amazing. Come on out and do that.
And we'll throw in a free axe throwing lesson. I mean, just
free axe throwing lesson.
Yeah.
That would be a fun after class party to go axe throw.
I've done it twice. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. All right, well, let's get on then right away. So where do you want to start this, Mike?
Start with the short list of all the devastation that hypnotists leave in the psychological debris field around them, because you know how damn dangerous
we've been around this field a lot, so we've seen a lot. And we'll give you a little sneak peek here. A lot of the times it's about correlation, not causation, right? You know, the Blue Jays clearly lost. They lost that baseball game because, I don't know.
Well, if you want to ask
Johnny forgot to wash his socks or something.
I'll tell you what my wife thinks they lost it from, and I'm not kidding, because I wore my Toronto Blue Jays Tom Henke shirt.
Oh, seriously? So it's your fault.
So she wouldn't let me wear it last night, and the Jays won.
There you go. Proof. I mean, proof. Correlation is causation. Absolutely. Okay. So a lot of that will come out to play. Come out to play.
No, listen, come out to play in Halloween. This is Chris's country music star right now. I'm thinking you look like, I'm trying to get the guy's name. I can't remember his name. It starts with Dick.
This is a universal costume. It could be country music. Yeah. It could be kind of cowboy, depending on what I wear, or it could be criminal.
I don't want to see the criminal so much.
I suppose
it's going to be like a gunfighter or something.
Yeah.
Just laying down stuff on people. But you know what I find is, what are you pulling?
There's like a piece of hair.
Oh, yeah, you can just tell. It's Halloween. But this is interesting because I'm seeing you as sort of like a and with this I move on.
I
sort
promise.
Of like Clint Black.
Okay.
Or one of the country. I'll say Jamie Johnson. Okay, this is your Jamie Johnson. I'm just wearing general Halloween. This is a Minden, Ontario sports jacket, which is also good in Meaford.
Do you want to reveal a bunch of the myths, or just go through them one by one?
Well, What do you mean reveal a bunch of them?
Well, you've got a list here that we're going to talk about. Did you want to shortlist? Not shortlist. Did you want to summarize what they are as we go through?
Yeah, sure.
Or or do you want to start with the context around the email?
Oh, no, I think that's better. We're going to start with the context. What's led us into this maelstrom of hypnotic terror?
Yeah. So again, respecting the anonymity of the
person.
The person was a student, probably a student of many people who study hypnosis. They've studied with us. They've studied with other people. So it's not like she's exclusively our student.
Okay.
And by the way, I did the math on this last night. Over the years, we've had over 11,533 people go through the Mike Mandel hypnosis. Doesn't mean that they all finished the whole thing or anything like that, but we've had more than 11,500 students. So you're going to see a wide variety of people who have deep experiences, people who have zero experience, people who have views that don't make any sense, and anything in between.
People who bring their own model of the world to the training and attempt to adapt the training to it. One in particular who you know about, who we occasionally hear from.
Yes. Okay. So what happened is I got a response in return to the Sunday newsletter, open mic email that we send out every Sunday, and you talked about myths about hypnosis, and one of them was that hypnosis is not dangerous. It's no more dangerous than...
That wasn't the myth, though.
That was the reality. Yeah, the reality is. But the myth was hypnosis is dangerous, and the reality is, as you want to read the quote.
Well, Dave Ellman said, the late great trainer who trained only dentists and doctors. He said hypnosis is no more dangerous than any other conversation, and I think that's a
really important thing to keep in mind, because a conversation can harm someone, right? It's possible that if you have a bad communication experience with someone, you could possibly lead them down the wrong path, et cetera, et cetera. So saying that hypnosis is no more dangerous than a normal conversation doesn't mean that somebody couldn't be harmed in some way. Like, I'm not talking about extreme harm here.
No, you seem to be backing up on this and taking a different point.
No, I got to take this off because it's annoying me. It's itchy.
It's annoying all of us, but that's all right.
Let's start there maybe for a moment. Then I'm going to get to the summary edition of the email.
That's a good idea.
Do you think excluding hypnosis, even though conversations are hypnotic,
absolutely,
can a conversation with someone harm someone? What does it mean? What do we mean by harm, really, right?
Well, could you create a nocebo effect or something?
Absolutely, right? Yeah. Could you create anxiety in somebody by... I don't want you to worry too much about that presentation you're about to give at school tomorrow, Johnny. I mean, really try your best to focus on the words that you're saying, and don't pay any attention to the way that they're staring at you. Don't let that make you nervous.
Right.
I mean, you can accidentally...
someone's state.
You're not wrecking their life or anything like that.
So we have to define, what do we mean by harm? Is it something they cannot come back from?
Yeah.
Is it that they just feel a little miffed?
Right.
I would question whether that's harm. I'd say there's got to be some sort of deleterious effect from it that is going to be...
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I don't mean just in the moment, having somebody worry about something.
Or just irritated with what you said.
So from that perspective, is hypnosis dangerous? Well, no more than any ordinary conversation, right? Now, so we get to the summary. So the student objected to the claim that hypnosis was not actually dangerous, and objected in a way that she went on to describe a whole bunch of different experiences. I'm going to read a summary that we wrote about this.
Nice.
Actually, ChatGPT gave me this nice summary that's beautiful. The student expressed concern that hypnosis can sometimes lead to harmful or unsettling after effects based on her own experiences with several practitioners and fellow students. She described feeling that hypnotic sessions had triggered emotional distress and even physical problems, including a serious accident and ongoing health issues. She believes that hypnosis practitioners should always conduct follow-up sessions to ensure client safety and provide tools to handle adverse reactions. Her accounts mix symbolic inner child imagery and vivid experiences, suggesting she interprets her difficulties as direct results of hypnosis rather than as emotional material emerging from within herself.
Interesting. Right. Again, because it's events or feelings are concomitant with hypnosis, it does not mean that it's causative. We have to be really careful with that.
Right. So if somebody's going through a hypnotic experience and some emotional thing from their past bubbles up,
right,
that doesn't mean that hypnosis caused the emotional thing. It's already been there.
It was the past, the
Yes.
event in the past that caused it. This is where we disagree, and we're not mocking in any way, shape, or form. But this is the kind of thing we deal with fairly frequently. People can make the most bizarre pronouncements. I'll give you an example. I heard one man say in a church once, someone said, "Oh, is it okay to go to yoga class?" "Oh, no, definitely not." In fact, he knew the guy was a runner.
Yoga class?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Well, it's Eastern mysticism, right? He
sounds dangerous.
It sounds dangerous. But he said something to the effect of, the guy was a runner, the person he was talking to, and he said, you shouldn't even be doing those stretches before and after you run, because some of them come from yoga, and you don't want to get into Eastern mysticism and get possessed. So you shouldn't even stretch before you run, just to be on the safe side. It's like people with all the right intentions attempt to protect us from things that are not dangerous.
Yes, very good point. Okay,
so all the right intentions.
I think that sets the stage nicely. Now let's start going through your list. I think you've got some great material here.
Some people believe that hypnosis will destroy your mind. I mean, literally destroy your mind. Meaning, if you've gone into a trance, now you'll go into a trance anytime that person wants you to, and you'll have no self-knowledge. You'll have no awareness that they don't give you. They become a Svengali figure. In fact, when the book Svengali came out. When that was written in the late 1800s, early 1900s by Georges du Maurier, Svengali was a hypnotist who messed around with the mind of this young woman, Trilby, who was a performer. But it was fiction. And because of that book, it scared the crap out of people. And for 2 years, hypnosis went into a complete dip because it was a novel. It never even happened. Well, you don't be like Trilby.
That's kind of like how I mentioned at the beginning. I was joking around saying, hypnosis, is it dangerous like a horror movie? And it ends and everybody's okay. Or is it dangerous like somebody with an axe?
Always
and so the book is basically the horror movie equivalent, right? Something bad happened. Okay,
it's over. It's a story.
The book, or people talking about the book, has now affected people hypnotically.
It affected society.
Yes.
It affected society.
Mass hypnosis. That's all it is.
Svengali never existed. But, it's probably best not to read it just to be on the safe side.
That's hilarious. I did not know that history.
We go to a very nice, calm Presbyterian church, which I like. It's just sensible and nice people. And everybody knows what they believe. And nobody's weird. And we went to a church that was somewhat weird for a few years, and then we escaped. I always say I got the left foot of fellowship. But what was interesting was one woman came up to me with a stack of stuff she printed off her computer. And I can't imagine how many ink cartridges she must have used. Just drops it in front of me. And she'd done all this research, and she was really angry.
You need to read this.
Yeah, you read this. It's like, first of all, as soon as someone tells me, we got to meet, we got to read that, I'm immediately saying no.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to waste whatever life I have, which I'm hoping is several decades. Yeah. So anyway, here's the headline. Hypnosis. Threat or menace?
Yeah.
Talk about a double bind.
Well,
I think it's only a threat. No, I think it's a menace. So people think it will literally destroy your mind. Now, others I've written down, wreck your brain. I'm not saying the same thing here. Some people think that because of neuroplasticity, the fact that good NLP processes, the tapping regimens, these different methods of change, clean language, do affect your brain. In fact, conversation does too, because you're creating new memories of the conversation.
Yeah.
So protein kinase C is automatically affecting your brain. But they think that it wrecks your brain because of neuroplasticity. Your life will never be normal again.
Oh, is that what they actually think?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird, because I was coming back to the original question: can hypnosis, if hypnosis is dangerous, can a conversation be dangerous, or can listening? Maybe you could think about that as let's say listening to the media or watching. Like pick a popular, I don't know whether it's CNN or Fox News or whatever.
Yeah.
There will be people who say, "Oh, if you listen to XYZ, you are brainwashed. You are." That's not it. Nobody would say that that's hypnosis, except for a hypnotist, I suppose. We would say all communication can be hypnotic. And so getting back to the everyday conversation thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not formal hypnosis, but can the media wreck your brain? If you listen to propaganda, can that wreck your brain? Not anymore. No. It just can convince you to believe something.
It might cause you to change your worldview.
But nobody would say that the media wrecks you. Well, maybe people would. Conversations won't wreck your brain, but they can affect what you believe and then how you behave. Right. You can always change it. You can believe something new later. You can discover a mistake.
Yeah, what an interesting thought. Actually edit your own life. Well.
So that's probably, that debunks that one.
Pretty well debunked. What about getting stuck in trance forever? I've heard this all the time. You should not have. People can get stuck in a trance, like stuck in a conversation. I like the example you gave. You're watching a movie, and you get stuck watching it because you're in a hypnotic trance, you're in, television trance, and you realize you can't get out of the couch.
Yeah.
You can't blink. So I got sleep paralysis and I'm wide awake and I'm in a trance. Someone come and rescue me. But you can't yell that because you're still hypnotized. It's ridiculous. Where's the evidence for any of this? These are the two questions one must ask oneself regarding all of this. Where did you come to believe that? How did you come to believe that? And
how do you know?
How do you know it's true? What's your evidence criteria? And saying, well, I just know is not an answer.
Yeah, it's that's circular logic.
Well, circular logic too. They say, well, hypnosis is dangerous. Well, how do you know? Well, because a lot of people are opposed to it because it's dangerous. It's like,
so you can't get, it won't wreck your brain. It won't destroy your mind. And you cannot get stuck in hypnosis. Although I love Sean Michael Andrews' line where he says, but it feels so good you'll wish you could get stuck.
I like that too. I like what Tad James said. Someone said, the late great Tad James, fabulous hypnosis and NLP trainer. Never met him, but he was a great trainer. And someone said to him, can you get stuck in hypnosis? And he said, no, but pray for it to happen.
Yeah, that's good.
Hypnosis is such a great place to be. We have resources available.
This comes back really nicely because the Dave Ellman line of no more dangerous than an ordinary conversation. Can you get stuck in an ordinary conversation? Well, you can feel like you're looking for an exit, but you can't actually get stuck. There's nothing about the conversation that freaking locks you in place and makes it so that you can't leave.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, here's another one. It can make you schizophrenic. Now, there was a case in Britain a few years back. It made the news. Someone claimed that she'd been hypnotized and it had made her schizophrenic. And now I think she said, the toaster was talking to them or something like that. It actually went to court.
Oh, come on.
England. Yeah.
Wow.
Went to the Old Bailey. And the judge threw it out. He said there is no evidence whatsoever that being on stage for this made her think this. Now, people who have paranoid schizophrenia, that's a terrible thing, I'm sure. But I've had 2 cases in my life, and hold that thought because I know it's going to be
I know
you're smiling.
Yeah.
I'm not going to listen to you unless you put the hat back on.
Okay.
Okay, you're not itching now. Are you?
Sunglasses.
Are you? Yeah, that too.
Actually, I can't because
no, not that. Yeah, just leave the hat. So I had 2 people when I was on W5. Now, W5 was a Canadian news program. It was very edgy, investigative reporters. They went after the A320 Airbus software and things like that. They interviewed me. My wife did not want me on. She said they rip things apart. They're terrifying. They came to my house, interviewed me, and we talked about all the aspects of hypnosis. And amazingly, people still, with the news program, all they were doing was interviewing me about what I did. And my frickin' phone lit up. And 2 calls in particular over the course of 3 days. One woman left a 2-minute message, deleted, and then hung up. It timed out, continued. She left like 4 messages. And she was clearly, no, I'm not making a diagnosis. I'm saying in my opinion, she sounded paranoid schizophrenic. She said she was on a ship with Teddy Kennedy and O.J. Simpson, and she'd been hypnotized, and they'd made her schizophrenic. Yeah. And the walls were tight. And she went on and on and on. And what they always say, I need to meet with you because you're the one who's going to.
You're the only one who can help me.
That's crazy stuff, isn't it? But you cannot be made schizophrenic by hypnosis. I mean, Thomas Saz.
Just like you can't be made schizophrenic from any ordinary conversation.
Any ordinary conversation.
I love coming back to that. It's so useful. Now, also, the whole on-stage thing, you said that she was in a hypnosis show on stage. No. That's what triggered
That was the woman in Britain. But that's a great one you brought up here because this is another one. One of my agents a number of years ago, and I used to do hypnosis shows 7.5 years ago, and did it for 43 years. He phoned me up and he said he got a complaint from some guy online who was phoning for his sister. Now, why?
Because she was at your show, Mike.
I hypnotized her in Vancouver at this event, which he named, which I had never been to in my life. And
it wasn't even you.
That's
right.
And told me that she had become terrified of spiders because I had told her she was covered in spiders, had traumatized her, and now every time people would even mention spiders, she'd have a panic attack and like lie down on the washroom floor and think she was covered with spiders. Now, if that's all true, that those were the symptoms that she was experiencing, she needs some help. I mean, I feel bad for her. But here's the thing. He was phoning on her behalf, and he didn't say what he wanted. I presume there was some sort of financial remuneration here. But what he said was it happened at the specific event in Vancouver. And I said 2 things. I was never at that event. I know exactly every show I've ever done in Vancouver because there weren't many.
Yeah.
And I said, the other thing is I've never told people you're covered with spiders and they're biting you. Never. We talk about, mosquitoes in the desert.
We're going to come back to this in a moment.
So I said, it wasn't me. I'm telling my agent this. So here's my agent's brilliant answer. He says sarcastically, and this was not Speaker Spotlight. They were great agents. But this particular guy, whose name I will not mention, he said, well, here's what I recommend you do. It sounds like something Ryan would say, doesn't it?
Oh,
he said,
yeah, 100%.
I'll give you the contact information. Give her a free hypnotherapy session so that they drop the subject. I said, giving someone a free hypnotherapy session for something I have not done is tantamount to saying, I caused it.
Yes.
It's agreeing with them.
And it's my fault, and I have to clean up this
But
mess.
I never met this woman. So I said, no, you call him up and say, he's not interested. It's not him. And he wishes you well. And the guy basically said, oh, okay. I just dropped the whole thing.
It wasn't Mike Mandel. You
Don't let other people's problems become your problem.
I know exactly what you're talking about, because I don't even think you do anything with spiders. I've never seen you do with spiders. The only thing I've ever seen you do is imply that a belt was a snake. And that's that was in class. That was interesting. You solved the spider phobia.
Spider phobia.
Let's talk about this for a moment. So the idea, again, coming back to this idea that hypnosis is no more dangerous than any other conversation, or maybe we can extend that to human interaction experience.
Okay, much better.
Because let's say, how would a spider phobia Halloweeny start? If you throw spiders at some little kid and start screaming, you probably would create a spider. I can't even talk today. You would probably create a spider phobia, or you have a good chance.
That's how my mom got. My mom gave my sister a snake phobia. My mom's terrified of snakes. That's why she loved going to Hawaii. She only went once because there's no snakes there, apparently. But my sister, as a little girl, said every time my mom would see a garter snake, she'd absolutely freak out, grab my sister, pull her away. My sister got the snake phobia too. So yes, to what you said, that could happen.
And so if you were a dick on stage, not that you are, of course, you'd never do this, but if somebody was a dick in stage hypnosis and had a whole bunch of people hypnotized and imagining that they were covered in spiders and screaming and freaking out, could that trigger a spider phobia, do you think?
I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
You have a hidden observer all the time watching.
True. Right. So it's like a maybe. I mean, it would be unethical to test it.
Tend to start before age 7, usually before age 4.
Okay.
I think it's extremely unlikely. But I saw a reprehensible video, and you as a father would hate this, and me as an Enneagram 8, I hated it, where they were intentionally giving little toddlers phobias to test it.
Oh, that's completely unethical.
Cute little boy sitting there. It's probably the 40s or 50s. And he's got baby bunny rabbits around him. His little boy's like 2 maybe, playing with them. And this freaking idiot comes in with a suit on. And he's got a rabbit mask on. It's scaring the kid. And the kid is screaming his head off. And this guy is still terrifying the kid. I'm thinking, if I could have got a hold of that guy, I would have neck cranked him into next Tuesday.
Elbow strike.
And I'd give him something to be scared of. Terrifying a little kid like that. Now, that would cause the phobia.
Yes. And actually, that is kind of a good example, because kids don't have a critical faculty, right? So they're not going to see through this. Like, if you did the same thing to an adult, do you think it would trigger a phobia?
I think it's extremely unlikely.
I think so too.
What if he tried it on you? What would happen?
Axe hand, elbow strike, freaking tiger
claw. I'd go right for the neck crank.
Yeah,
after blinding him. Yeah,
but so just kidding. To any censors,
not necessarily. But yeah. So how about this one? The idea that hypnosis, I know we got a lot of content here, buddy. Hypnosis can enable another person to drain your bank account.
Oh,
that's
right.
Really based on me taking people's wallets on stage and stuff like that.
Yeah, now let's set the stage, literally, metaphorically. Let's set that stage. So on stage, you have a really awesome, or you had when you did
years
these,
ago,
hilarious that someone would be giving you their wallet and they wouldn't remember, and then you'd say, oh, I found a wallet, and the person would go, oh, yeah, that's mine, and you would give it back to them.
And they'd keep handing
and then eventually you would, as they're going back to their seat, if you put your hand out like this, that was a that was a hypnotic suggestion that they would just return it to you and again forget.
Yeah.
So and then you started handing them back a non-existent wallet.
I know.
And it gets really amusing. Now, they're on stage.
Context. Yeah.
So exactly. So let's describe the difference between that on stage versus reality.
Yeah, context stuff. Now, back when I did that initially in high schools and stuff, not everybody carried a wallet. One little kid, I got his watch. And at the end of the show, I'd forgotten to give it back to him, like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
His mother comes over and says, "You did not give him his watch back." I went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot." She goes, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure." Yeah, that's the point of my shows, just to see how many freaking watches I can steal, you moron.
A $30 watch from some 15-year-old kid. And that's going to go sell it on eBay or something.
I can see I'm still focusing on the microphone instead of the screen. I'm back. I'm back to the screen, or I'm not dissociated. But yeah, hypnosis is context driven. Everything happens according to context. The context of a stage, weird and wonderful things will happen that will not happen in a therapeutic setting or a casual setting.
Right. If you're
not going to drain the person's bank account.
What do you think's going to happen if you're in a hypnosis session with somebody? And again, as a dick, you say, "And you will give me the PIN number to your bank account, and you will hand over your debit card, and you will stay in trance. You are stuck in trance for the next 2 hours while you go off and, withdraw all their money or something." What's going to happen?
Well, it's going to be the gorilla response. Your gorilla's going to go.
First of all, even with the hidden observer there,
happen.
It's a massive rapport breaker. It's not going to be an acceptable suggestion. No more acceptable than saying you're going to suddenly think that you can stand on your head and you will attemp to do
on top of the CN Tower
3-minute headstand right now here in my office. And come crashing
it's ridiculous.
Down.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Another one is enable someone, a hypnotist, can cause you to leap off a bridge to your death. Like, no. And one of the ways that people think about this was there was a show on a cruise ship. Someone did, not me. And they were irresponsible in how they ran it. So they said, as soon as I snap my fingers, you'll wake up and you'll go back to your seat as fast as you can, taking the shortest route possible. Well, the shortest route possible
jumping off the
stage instead of taking the stairs. And somebody twisted her ankle or something, the literalness of the response. But it's not the hypnosis that caused it. It's the jumping off the stage that caused the twisted ankle.
Let's relate that back to an everyday, non-formal hypnosis setting.
Let's try that.
Let's say you have a bunch of kids and the coach or the team facilitator, whatever, says, "Okay, it's a race. For last one to the bench, has to wash all the uniforms or something."
I wonder what you're going to say.
Go, and then they all start. Somebody falls and twists their ankle.
Yeah,
was that hypnosis? Right. Coaches cause freaking broken ankles.
Yeah, we should ban all
coaches are dangerous.
Yeah, and a typical example I see is one that is legitimate, but it's not hypnosis. It's we know that strong emotion gets the critical faculty to become semi-permeable, so information gets through very easily, especially very strong emotions like fear. Now, I got a text message yesterday, "Oh, this is your bank." It doesn't even say which bank it is.
Yeah.
And this transaction that you put through of $16,000 has been blocked, but we need you to do this right away and go to this. And I'm going,
F you, because you know better.
I'm a senior. Now, a lot of seniors, and this is all targeted, they go, "Oh my goodness. I better get online and fix this right away." They're using fear to drive them into a specific behavior.
Right, which is not hypnosis, but it's essentially... It's hypnotic.
It's
that's where I think that's where we have to at least recognize somebody can cause harm to another person by manipulating them, by lying to them, but that
doesn't make it hypnotic. Hypnosis.
Hypnosis, as we say, is not a special state. It's a state.
Yeah.
Now, it's
maintained by process.
Use it for good. Use it to help people. And if you were to inappropriately use hypnosis, I suppose you could create the same sort of negative outcomes that you could create based on fear, based on exuberance and having kids run across a field and falling, or, you can imagine all kinds of accidents that happen because people were just overly excited about a situation. They fell down, they had an accident. That's about as dangerous as we get here.
Yeah, I know. And what about the idea people who are hypnotized will do whatever they're told so they can be turned into MK Ultra type assassins and kill people. Well, George Esterbrooks and MT Orne, they tried that in the 1950s and were unable to make it stick. Cameron Ewan in Montreal, McGill University, they tried to create assassins through hypnosis by compartmentalizing their personality. So one part would be, the murderer and kill people, and the other part wouldn't even know about it. And that would be the one that could be interrogated.
Right.
But it didn't work. They could only make it work when they brought in things like insulin shock and fragmented the person through electroconvulsive therapy. It's absolute nonsense that you can just hypnotize someone and make a Manchurian candidate.
Now, I have a feeling we're probably through the important part of the list here.
Yeah, we should probably go to the commercial.
Yeah, let's go to the commercial break. And then when we come back, let's just briefly talk about some of the good things you can
That
do
would
with
be
it.
a good idea.
Yeah,
What
and
we
then
teach people to
and then
do,
we'll
our
wrap it up.
students, what they learn.
Yeah,
the good stuff.
which is sort of like the end of Halloween. We're getting away from the scary, and let's get into the more Christmassy types of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to our commercial break. And now, a special Halloween report from roving reporter Brado in Meaford, Ontario.
Yeah, how are you tonight? Thanks once again. So, it's Halloween again, which means the usual dicks will be shelling out in stupid costumes, but the nice kids will be out too. And I just went out and bought a big box of Timbits from Tim Horton Donuts, which are kind of like donut holes, but with the complete lack of substance in that. And I went out over to Eddard's place where he built a massive gallows and a guillotine and a brontosaurus and cardboard cartons, and everything was made out of that, which look about as interesting and realistic as you'd frickin' expect. And naturally, Duder's there too, and they're making and wearing these ridiculously stupid costumes like a cross between a standard poodle and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and they're filling bags of burlap with their treats, which of course are as idiotically dickish as all get out. You know those rubber stoppers that go in your sink and act as a plug? Well, Duder's been stealing them from hardware stores for years, mostly because they're just easy to steal. I know he's got about 6 trillion of them and thought they'd be nice to give to kids as treats and that. And I asked him why, and he shuffled around and said they were nice because they were brand new. And I explained that I was giving out Timbits in my place, and then all they wanted to know was what time I was going to be starting to give them out and what flavors I had. So I jokingly said I'd trade them a Timbit each for all their stupid sink stoppers, and amazingly the dick said yes, which sucks because now I'm stuck with all these stupid rubber plugs. We'll probably give them out to the kids, which means I have to borrow one of their not cool at all Chainsaw Massacre poodle costumes, which seem to go best with the plugs. But scary to me though, because I'm afraid that now I'm sort of turning into Eddard and Duder because I'm acting as weird as they are, and I'm not quite sure how this all happened. So anyway, that's it for Halloween and hypnosis up here in the land of the most lame costumes in the world, Meaford, Ontario, now the rubber stopper capital of the world, and that.
Okay, and we're back. Let's talk about the good stuff. So we're shifting away from Halloween.
Yeah.
And let's pretend it's kind of Christmas. So hypnosis can be a real gift. Christmas morning gift, you know, the BB gun behind the tree or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So we can do all kinds of good things. What are the great things we can do with hypnosis instead?
Everything about hypnosis is great when you recognize, according to our model, the one we've adopted, hypnosis is basically an amplifier of human experience. When we get our students in Toronto live or teach them online, they get a set of skills. Like if someone has a severe phobia, and the amazing thing is that well, it doesn't matter how long they've had this thing.
Yeah.
We can generally clear it in one session. I've never had a phobia fail to clear in one session, and doing it since 1993, that part of it, it's a great thing to set people free from pain and fear. Hypnosis with pain, and think about that. That's where it shines.
Think about, actually, it's a really good example that, again, you know, if we're going to say hypnosis is no more dangerous than an actual, like an everyday conversation, would the opposite of that be true? It's no more helpful than an ordinary conversation. You might argue that. And I mean, it's an amplifier of human experience, we say. So if an ordinary conversation can have an effect, doing that in hypnosis can probably have a more profound effect. Think about pain. Think about injuring yourself and being so focused on what you're doing that you don't even realize that you hurt yourself until later when someone draws attention. Hey, you're bleeding. And in fact, that happened to me on the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend. I was reaching in between 2 pieces of couch to get my daughter's phone that she had dropped. She said, Dad, can you get it? I was like, yeah, sure. But it was focused on the hockey game or baseball game, whatever we were watching. Reach and grab it. Here you go. And I'm sitting there, later realize I'm bleeding all over the couch and the pillows. And it did hurt, but I didn't notice it at the time. I only noticed it when someone drew attention to it.
That's absolutely true, because where you focus, that's where your intention and attention match. It's been established for years that people can be stabbed in street fights, like badly
and
stabbed,
won't even
and not know. They're just they're in the adrenaline of the moment. And then they find out later they've just lost a kidney or something.
Yeah.
But the distraction from it, the one singular focus of attention. And also, let's talk about clearing past trauma. People who've had a horrendous past. Richard Bandler used to say, and probably still says it, it's never too late to have a happy childhood.
I love that line.
That's Erickson being the February man, taking people back and giving them a happy childhood, meeting them as a psychiatrist, which he was, and creating events. He'd take them to the zoo and he'd be the February man. Every February, he'd show up in their life. And people would have a happy childhood in order to have a better adulthood later.
In fact, you used self-hypnosis and NLP, and I don't know if you used timelines.
I did use timeline, yeah.
I think you said you used timeline, yeah. So you were a very tiny little kid. You were bullied horrendously in
Smart
school.
as hell.
You know, nobody's going to pick on Mike Mandel now, but back in the day, when you were a little boy, you were picked on, you know.
I was bullied incessantly. Yeah.
You were, you had to have protection money.
I had to pay protection money to Bob Daly and Neil Chapman so that other guys wouldn't beat me up.
And so what did you do when you were clearing this later in adulthood?
Oh,
that is traumatizing.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I sat down once and I began thinking about all the times I'd been horrifically bullied and beaten up. I mean, choked by Steve Millen. Oh, gosh, I'd like to get him now. He had me in the schoolyard position where you're held down. I mean, it's a simple escape with a number 4 grip and then blind him on the way out with a thumbnail to the eye.
If you only knew that then,
The thing that's interesting about it is I could remember so many events where I was badly bullied and I went back in a hypnotic trance, lying down on my bed, I think, and cleared each one of them. I would go back to where something bad had happened, put myself in self-hypnosis, redundancy alert, redundancy, and then change it, rewrite the event. So in the case, I would get out of the hole. I went back with the knowledge of an adult male who practices and teaches British Jiu-Jitsu, and just rained down death on these guys. not killed them.
Just kidding.
It was very, very simple to rewrite them. So now my brain has two, as Mandler would say, two representations
parallel
of the event.
Pathways,
parallel ones.
And the
one
better one is going to win out in terms of your
Chris.
emotions. Yeah.
Did you clear up anything in your troubled past, deeply troubled past?
No, the one thing I can think about, I didn't clear this on purpose. This was more of the learning after the fact what really happened. Seeing a situation through the eyes of an adult.
Oh, gosh, that's powerful.
Remember when I told you that in my childhood days, let's say childhood, meaning like grade school, high school, even.
Okay. High school.
And for a period of time, it was quite popular to wear turtlenecks. And I hated wearing turtlenecks because I didn't like anything restrictive on my neck. I could not stand the feeling.
Yeah.
And it all stemmed back to a childhood experience where I was maybe 7 years old. I was a very strong swimmer, but very little kid. And I was playing water polo in a friendly competition that the outdoor pool that I was a member of for the summer had organized. And I'm swimming with the ball, and some bigger kid who wants the ball but isn't a very good swimmer.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
Around trying to get the ball, ends up kind of accidentally
puts a rear naked choke,
not choking me. Yeah, didn't put a rear naked choke, but it sure felt that way to me. I was underwater, and for probably all of 3 seconds, could not breathe, could not really get any air, and panicked. And it felt like eternity.
Now, this is water polo, right?
Yeah. This is just
what happened to your horse?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've made that joke before.
I know. But the old ones are still the best ones.
And that's what caused me to have this. Now, was that hypnosis? Of course not. It wasn't hypnosis. But it was an average experience in my life that left me not feeling some horrendous phobia or being schizophrenic or anything like that, Mike, right? But I didn't like turtlenecks.
No, I'm going to give you a family-friendly version of that.
Yeah.
It's only 1 or 2 sentences.
Okay.
I want you to note the cleverness in the way I word this. I've never liked turtlenecks either. I also find them confining. I could not crack my neck properly, which I enjoy doing. Well, I just have to do it to feel better. But to me, it was always the turtleneck's resemblance to a certain part of the male anatomy that put me off. Because I'm thinking, if this turtleneck represents something, then what is my head representing?
Exactly.
There you go. It's all very glansic and strange.
What else have we got before
I don't know. I thought we sort of hit the rock bottom there.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, one thing, I just want to touch on one thing, just abreaction. Abreaction is when you take someone through an event in their past and they freak out in hypnosis and scream and cry and stuff. And that can be terrifying to someone who sees it for the first time. And we have methods that we teach our students where they don't have to abreact someone to clear the past. But even if you see that, it's not that the person is in trauma, it's that they're discharging all the negative crap from the past.
Even if they abreact. Now, an abreaction isn't just, let's say, going through the art gallery process that you teach, which is content-free. It can be used for content-free therapy, where somebody is experiencing a problem in their life and they see it in a new way for the very first time. Oftentimes, tears, they'll be in trance and they'll have tears. They might even sob a little bit. That's not abreaction.
Yeah, some people would say it's just letting a little bit out of the bottle.
I suppose you could call abreaction a spectrum.
Right.
It's not digital. It is analog in nature. But we typically think of an abreaction as being to the extreme end of that analog spectrum. They're freaking out.
It is mostly a whack.
Even if that happens, that doesn't harm them.
Yeah, the person's okay.
They still
and the key with
process the
abreaction, I'm sure Sean Michael Andrews would agree with me, and the elements and so on. The key is either stop it right away because you can't deal with it now,
Or let it process.
or let them process it completely.
Yeah, don't interrupt it midway.
But that's a different thing. But let's just do a little summary here. I've got here at MMHA, we teach our students, we give them a full toolbox of skills, and our students learn to apply the best tool to the job at hand. And that comes from practice. That's what comes when you learn your art really well. And they don't automatically use regression to cause for everything. They find ways around problems. They find ways of using hypnosis and NLP and giving people better lives. We've got to be careful not to blame hypnosis for problems that already exist, that hypnosis may just bring to light.
Yes, that's exactly it. And so actually, if we bring it back to what the ChatGPT summary says here about what started this conversation was this email from a student, and she's suggesting that hypnosis practitioners should always conduct follow-up sessions. Now, what is your take on a follow-up session or follow-up check-in?
Well, the thing, I didn't do that. I never did that because during the session, I'm calibrating and I'm asking the person, what will happen the next time you're around that snake? Or what will happen next time you're in the boardroom and they're asked to speak? And I'm looking at them and I'm calibrating. And if they go, I guess it'll be better, I've still got work to do. But if they're going, like Mauricio in our class, what do you think of spiders now? I just went, Now,
and we'll see him in about 3 weeks.
And he's done.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I'm going to phone him a week later. Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah.
Start putting in doubts. I mean, that's ridiculous.
There's nothing wrong with firing off an email or a text message or a phone call and saying, hey, how you doing now that we cleared that spider phobia?
Yeah.
Love to hear about some updates in your life.
Yeah, that's
great. There's no problem
But I
with
wouldn't put
doing
them
that.
through, bring them in and say, we're going to check, make sure you're okay.
Yeah. You're not going to book a freaking follow-up appointment.
Are you going to do a follow-up for the follow-up?
Yeah, you're not going to. That's it.
You're not infinite progression.
Follow-up trance. Let's do another session just to make sure you're okay.
You're starting to sound like the guy with the freaking cantaloupe.
Yeah.
Stop.
That guy pisses me off. Okay, so there's that.
Okay, no, here's the thing. Any tool that reaches the unconscious, like hypnosis, requires respect, boundaries, and emotional maturity. Right. Hypnosis isn't a toy to play with. It's a set of procedures that are immensely powerful, and we teach our students to treat them that way, as a powerful tool that must be used with respect and care.
That's a perfect place to end it, Mike. So head over to MikeMandelHypnosis.com. If you want to study hypnosis with us, it's a whole $1 to get a week of the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, and then you can decide if you like it or not. I mean, basically, if you think our training's great, stick around, and you're a member, you get access to every course that we've created inside of the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy membership. Or if you don't like it, you risk a whole $1. Wow, right?
And I'm going to close by quoting you. I wrote this down. I like it so much. We don't make hypnosis safe. It already is. We just teach you how to use it ethically and effectively.
Nice. All right. So with that said, we'll see you in the next episode. Happy Halloween. Thanks once again.
And good night.